Acute. When a bad thing is acute, it is very severe and intense.
When she fell out of the tree, the girl felt an acute pain in her arm.
Aggression. Aggression is behavior that is mean or violent to others.
The problem was only made worse by Mark's aggression.
Banquet. A banquet is a grand formal dinner.
Both families brought a lot of food for the wedding banquet.
Biography. A biography is an account of someone's life that is written by someone else.
We read a biography about Charles Darwin in science class.
Boost. To boost something means to increase or improve it.
Lowering prices boosts customers' interest in shopping.
Clap. To clap means to hit one's hands together to express pleasure or get attention.
After the speech, everyone in the crowd clapped their hands for the speaker.
Compel. To compel someone to do something means to force them to do it.
Traffic signs compel drivers to drive safely.
Dominance. The dominance of a person is their state of being more powerful than others.
Large gorillas hit their chests to express their dominance over others.
Gorgeous. When something is gorgeous, it is very pleasing and attractive.
The girl picked out a gorgeous dress to wear to the dance.
Inevitable. When something is inevitable, it is certain to happen or cannot be avoided.
It is inevitable that the days will get longer in the summer.
Legacy. A legacy is an effect that exists because of a person or thing in the past.
The legacy of the ancient Egyptians can be seen in their monuments.
Masterpiece. A masterpiece is a very good painting, novel, movie, or other work of art.
The Arc de Triomphe is considered a masterpiece in the world of architecture.
Multiple. If there are multiple things, there are many of them.
When the stunt went wrong, the man suffered multiple injuries.
Narrate. To narrate a story means to write about it or read it aloud.
This story was written by John, but Aaron is narrating it to the crowd.
Notorious. When something is notorious, it is well known because of something bad.
This area of town is notorious for gang activity.
Outdated. When something is outdated, it is old and no longer useful in modern time.
Tape players are becoming outdated because of digital music.
Overall. When a thing is talked about overall, the whole thing is considered.
Overall, the party was a huge success.
Partiality. A partiality is a tendency to prefer one thing to another.
She has a partiality for walking to school instead of driving.
Spontaneous. When an act is spontaneous, it is not planned. It happens suddenly.
My wife made a spontaneous decision to buy a new sofa while I was at work.
Virtue. A virtue is a good quality or way of behaving.
My best virtue is forgiveness.
Anthropology. Anthropology is the study of people, society, and culture.
In anthropology class, I learned about simple tools that ancient cultures used.
Applaud. To applaud means to clap in order to show approval.
Everyone cheered and applauded Manny's efforts.
Appoint. To appoint someone to a job means to give the job to them.
Two students were appointed to help the scientists with their research.
Compatible. When things are compatible, they work well or exist together successfully.
Jan and Fred are too different. They will never be compatible.
Competence. Competence is the ability to do something well or effectively.
The job was easy because the group had enough competence to do it well.
Confer. To confer with someone means to discuss something with them to make a decision.
I will have to confer with my wife before I can purchase a new car.
Consecutive. When things are consecutive, they happen one after another without interruption.
The king ruled for 10 consecutive years.
Crude. When something is crude, it is not exact or detailed, but it can still be useful.
She drew crude hearts on the ground to show how much she loved him.
Cube. A cube is a solid object with 6 square surfaces that are all the same size.
Please get me some ice cubes to put in my soda.
Feedback. Feedback is comments to a person about how they are doing something.
I asked my boss for feedback on my work.
Ignorance. Ignorance of something is lack of knowledge about it.
When he failed the test, his ignorance of math was obvious.
Masculine. When something is masculine, it is a quality or thing related to men.
American football is usually considered a masculine sport.
Monument. A monument is a structure that is built to remind people of a person or event.
A large monument was built to honor the brave soldiers.
Muscular. When someone is muscular, they are very fit and strong.
He exercised regularly so that his body could become muscular.
Posture. A person's posture is the position in which they stand or sit.
Your back will feel better if you improve your posture.
Situate. To situate something means to place or build it in a certain place.
The road was situated between the forest and the lake.
Supervise. To supervise something means to make sure that it is done correctly.
Alan supervised the construction workers to ensure everyone's safety.
Symmetry. Symmetry is the state of having two halves that are exactly the same.
The artist made sure to use perfect symmetry when painting the butterfly.
Tattoo. A tattoo is a design that is drawn permanently on the skin with needles.
The surfer had tattoos on both his arms.
Undergraduate. An undergraduate is a student at a college who is studying for a bachelor's degree.
She was excited to finish high school and enroll as an undergraduate in the fall.
Brook. A brook is a small stream.
Water flows down several brooks on the mountain.
Cater. To cater to someone means to provide them with all the things needed or wanted.
Bill was too sick to get out of bed, so his nurse catered to his needs.
Considerate. When someone is considerate, they pay attention to the needs of others.
The considerate boy gave a present to his girlfriend on Valentine's Day.
Consumption. The consumption of food or drink is the act of eating or drinking it.
These apples are too rotten for consumption.
Criteria. Criteria are factors on which a person judges or decides something.
Before she got the job, she had to meet all the necessary criteria.
Crust. Crust is the tough outer part of a loaf of bread.
The little boy never ate the crust of his pizza.
Degrade. To degrade someone means to cause people to have shame.
The teacher degraded Bob when she announced his poor performance to the class.
Entitle. To entitle someone means to give them the rights to have or do something.
His golden ticket entitled him to sit in the front row at the concert.
Escort. To escort people means to safely accompany them to a place.
Her bodyguards escorted her to the movie theater.
External. When something is external, it is connected to an outer part.
It is warm inside my house, but the external temperature is freezing.
Facility. A facility is a building that exists for a particular purpose.
There are many educational facilities in big cities.
Faculty. A faculty is a mental or physical ability.
The boy's mental faculties impressed all of his teachers.
Heap. A heap of things is a large pile of them.
After the building was torn down, all that was left was a heap of bricks.
Hemisphere. A hemisphere is one half of the Earth.
In the northern hemisphere, the weather is usually warmest in July and August.
Hound. A hound is a type of dog that is often used for racing or hunting.
The men took their hounds with them when they went on the hunting trip.
Impersonal. If something is impersonal, it is not friendly and makes people feel unimportant.
The boy felt scared on his first day at the big, impersonal high school.
Ornament. An ornament is an attractive object that people display in their homes.
The woman kept some colorful ornaments on the shelves.
Pedestrian. A pedestrian is a person who is walking on a street.
Cars should be careful when pedestrians are walking around.
Sanctuary. A sanctuary is a place where people in danger can go to be safe.
The church was made into a sanctuary for homeless people in the winter.
Spectator. A spectator is someone who watches something, especially a sports event.
There were thousands of spectators at the big game.
Asset. An asset is a skill or quality that is useful or valuable.
The coach realized the boy's speed was an asset to the team.
Aspect. An aspect is one part or feature of something.
I thought about the different aspects of owning 2 dogs.
Braille. Braille is a system of raised patterns on paper that allows the blind to read.
The boy enjoyed reading his favorite books written in Braille.
Bud. A bud is a part of a plant that turns into a flower or a leaf.
2 weeks after planting the seed, a small bud appeared.
Coordinate. To coordinate things is to make different parts work together.
Each skating team had to coordinate their movements for the show.
Disprove. To disprove something means to show that it is not true.
The scientists disproved the theory that the sun moved around the earth.
Humanitarian. If something is humanitarian, it is connected to helping people's lives.
After the flood, several humanitarian organizations offered help.
Hypothesis. A hypothesis is an idea for something that has not been proved yet.
The teacher did an experiment to prove whether his hypothesis was right.
Imprint. An imprint is an effect or lesson from an experience that is hard to forget.
The experience of war left an imprint on his mind that troubled him.
Informative. When something is informative, it provides a lot of information.
The travel guide had a lot of informative facts about the region.
Optic. When something is optic, it relates to the eyes or light.
Her blindness was caused by a problem with her optic nerve.
Premise. A premise is an idea on which something is based.
The premise of the movie that Bobby and I watched was unrealistic.
Rack. A rack is an object with shelves that holds things.
He stored his tools on a rack.
Renaissance. The Renaissance was a period between the 14th and 17th centuries.
Leonardo da Vinci was a popular artist of the Renaissance.
Revere. To revere something is to admire it greatly.
The students revere their teacher who has taught them a lot.
Simultaneous. When something is simultaneous, it occurs at the same time as something else.
The movement of the gears inside the watch was simultaneous.
Skeptic. A skeptic is a person who does not believe something.
The scientist showed the skeptic that dinosaurs did exist by providing evidence.
Spatial. When something is spatial, it relates to the position and size of things.
He was asked where the books were located to test his spatial ability.
Specify. To specify is to describe something clearly.
The poster didn't specify where the concert was taking place.
Wax. Wax is a substance that is slightly shiny and melts when heated.
The candles are made of wax.
Accessory. An accessory is a thing that is added to another thing to make it look better.
The store sold colorful accessories like bags, sunglasses, and makeup.
Acquisition. An acquisition is something that a person buys or gets in some way.
Marty was happy with his new acquisition, a very fast bicycle.
Adequate. When something is adequate, it is good enough for something else.
Without adequate notice of the roadblock, they will have to turn around.
Cardboard. Cardboard is a material made out of stiff paper. It is often used to make boxes.
We packed our things into cardboard boxes and moved to our new home.
Dilemma. A dilemma is a difficult situation in which a choice has to be made.
Choosing either the tastier or healthier drink proved to be quite a dilemma.
Elaborate. When something is elaborate, it contains a lot of details.
She gave the teacher an elaborate explanation of her project.
Facilitate. To facilitate something is to make it easier.
To facilitate the meeting, Melissa used a simple computer program.
Fleet. A fleet is a group of ships.
The fleet of ships spent a few days at the dock.
Grid. A grid is a pattern of squares with numbers and letters to find places on a map.
We located our town using the grid.
Import. To import means to bring in a product from another country.
Foods that have been imported are usually more expensive.
Infer. To infer something is to decide it is true based on other information one has.
By the position of the sun in the sky, she inferred that it was noon.
Inflate. To inflate something means to fill it up with air.
I helped him inflate the balloons.
Innate. When something is innate, it is something that one is born with. It is not learned.
He had the innate desire to please his teachers.
Marble. Marble is a type of rock that feels cold and is smooth when cut.
The large house had floors made of marble.
Mast. A mast is a long pole on a ship that holds the sail.
The mast held both sails of the ship upright.
Nausea. Nausea is the feeling of being sick to your stomach.
The doctor said the medicine would help get rid of her nausea.
Naval. When something is naval, it relates to a country's navy or military ships.
The country sent all of its naval forces to protect them.
Pouch. A pouch is a small, flexible bag that is usually made of cloth.
I keep my money in a small pouch.
Saturated. If something is saturated, it is completely wet.
Lee's hair became saturated in the rainstorm.
Update. To update something means to make it more modern.
We need to update the programs on our computers.